off your ass and get the bag. Turn that pain into some gold. It's 10 toes, never fold. Never. I bet your heart paid with gold. So live this life like you bold. It's 10. Oh. Do the very lot slip. Watch me dip like this. Had to get a little raw. Find out you was tough.
Welcome back to Resiliency Cam podcast. We got my man Marloshawn Franklin in the building. How we feeling tonight, brother?
Man, what's good? I'm happy to be here, buddy.
Man, excited to have you, man. So we're going to jump right into it, man. So for a lot of people who don't know Marlo, man, you was with us, the first 2 years at Mountain Point. And then, you end up leaving and going to Chandler, man. Talk to us about that because, growing up, that freshman year, we was like, man, if we can just stick together, we'll win it all. But, talk about that move to Chandler, man, because, Chandler been, the #1 program in the state for the last 6-7 years.
No, for sure. Just new life, bro. Just changed. Moving around with my family and stuff like that. We just felt like that was the best move for me. Especially maturing, because like you said, we had that class and academically it wasn't always it wasn't always there. So definitely like, okay, shit, we moved out here for me to go to college and play ball. We got to switch something up. We've been doing this for 2 years.
Right.
We need to tighten up our focus a little bit. We need to go do something different.
Right. Man, and then, he going to be humble, man. So senior year, man, we playing against Chandler. First play, we going to pick on Sean. Bad decision, right? Picked us off first play, so.
Oh, no, man. That was definitely one of my favorite high school games, playing Charles at Chandler. I kind of bridged that gap from that Chandler and that Mountain Point area. So,
right.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite games in high school.
Right. And then, man, talk about, not being heavily recruited out of high school and then, going to Mesa Community College where you turned into a monster. I mean, every time I look up, man, you was getting bigger, stronger, faster in the weight room with the rights. Man, talk about that, because then you end up being a top corner in the nation and then you only gave up 4 catches as a sophomore, man. Talk about that because being on that island tough.
You got to think, man, like my mom ain't moved me out here to play, so that's always like a constant thing for me. Like,
right.
My people make a lot of sacrifices for me, so it's important for me that I return them and make sure, like, hey, when I look back at this, I put myself in the best situation to win. So you can kind of put that in every situation, from the Chandler to the, not being recruited to going to Mesa, not then transferring to Berkeley. So that's kind of like my motto, just always look back like, man, I put myself in the best situation to win. I don't got no regrets. And, my family proud of what I'm doing, too, so that's the biggest thing.
That's real right there, bro. That's respect. And, like you said, right, going to, Cal Berkeley after as well, you know what I mean? And it's like your game was just getting better and better, but talk to, those young athletes who in your position, right? They get out of high school and they want to go to that next level, but they don't have that opportunity. Talk to them about, that sacrifice, that grind, and just having that belief too as well, because like I explained, at the JUCO level, it's a little different, right? Like I say it's more of a mental game because, you got to make sure you go to class by yourself. You got to make sure you eat, versus, at that Division I level, right? You got tutors and you can eat from night to day, man. So talk about that sacrifice and grind and just, that belief, being in that JUCO.
I think the biggest thing was like, it was never more of a football thing. Like just personally speaking, it was never like a football thing, like a lack of play. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was just the person, you get me?
Right.
So for me, just the whole junior college thing, I got you, all our homies, so we went to school with everybody going places, we doing stuff. I'm on the same visit as y'all. So I'm seeing it, I'm living it, I'm seeing it. It's just not happening for me, right?
Right.
But at the same time, like, this is where I'm supposed to be at. It may not be my offer, but it's the trail trip. It's his offer, but I'm going, I'm meeting coaches, I'm in the mix with it. So definitely just, that being said, just surround yourself with it. Don't be afraid. It don't feel like you on your man's nuts or something like that because you trying to be in the mix. Like, no, y'all always embraced it.
Right.
Because football wasn't the issue. It was just like, hey, you kind of got, you got late start to this. I went from out here. So a lot of times it was just a good experience to be out there just knowing like, oh, okay, like, mine's next, right? Mine's next. Like, I ain't really too much worried. Like, my man's getting it right now. Like, I'm in the mix. We having fun. That's what it is.
Right.
But I say that's one of the biggest things. One, just surrounding yourself with people that want to do what you're doing. Surrounding yourself with like-minded people.
That's real.
Right. Because at the end of the game, at the end of the day, it's gonna be the people who did and people who didn't. So it's like wherever you want to fall at, that's what your actions is gonna show.
That's real, bro. That's real. And like, you know, one thing like me and Kenny talked about in the last podcast was healthy competition. Cause like you say, like we surrounded ourselves around that. And like, not only that, like we competed, you know what I mean? Like everything, you know, the weight room, who was going to work out the most, you know what I mean? With everything.
Off the field, on the field,
right.
Everything.
And you know, I feel like that's what this new generation lack, you know, that competition, that healthy competition. Cause it's like, we live in that society today where it's like, I don't want you doing better than me. But versus us, like, we like, it's love, you know what I mean? If you do it better, like you said, it just wasn't my time. But you know, eventually my time was gonna come. So
I think I always was raised like that.
Right.
You know, I done seen people winning but lose it all. I done seen people that's been losing the whole time and they hit one play and now they up, whatever they up, you know?
That's real.
So it was like, it was never like, oh no, this ain't gonna work for me. Like, oh, like you gotta think I moved across the country all the way out here, met nobody, just I'm here. That's what I'm trying to do. It's a good opportunity out here, coach. Yep, I'm there. Come on.
Right.
So I just really hit the ground running, and it was never none of that. It was always like, shit, it's gonna work for me. You know,
That's
it's
real.
Gonna work for me.
That belief, man.
My faith, for sure.
That's real. That's real. And then, you know, faith, man. You know, no, speak on that faith, man, because, you know, I feel like a lot of people like that nowadays. And, you know, faith is a big thing. It can get you through a lot.
Yeah, man. Just, you know, I don't want to force nothing on nobody, but definitely just speaking for personally, you know, my faith is unwavering. You know, at the end of the day, I know what's gonna happen for me. I can go to bed and bank on just knowing like greater times is for me, you know?
That's real.
So that's that, man. Just knowing and believing yourself, confidence in yourself. You know what I'm saying? When your faith put to the test, you know, how did you come out on it?
That's
you know,
real.
was you able to fight it and beat it, or you let it beat you up? You know, it let you set you back. It let you get the hating on your homies.
Right.
It's always a test of time with that faith stuff, bro.
That's real.
For sure.
That's real, man. You speaking that real right now. And then, man, talk about the decision to go to Cal Berkeley. Because like I said, man, you just kept getting better and better. And then you go to Cal Berkeley and, like, you're not even there for a week and I already see your name in the papers. Like, you killing it first day from the start of camp, man. Talk about that decision to go to Cal Berkeley.
Definitely a blessing, bro. Because I'm not going to just sit here and perp. Like, school wasn't always for me.
Right.
So the irony of going to like the #1 school in the country.
Right.
Academically, not like Bama, like, oh, this a football. Like, nah, bro, like this Cal, bro. Like, people that go here, they leave with everything they ever wanted. You get what I'm saying? So, like the irony of a person who really not into that or really didn't embrace it as much as they should have, it was crazy. I had a couple of schools that offered, but Cal was just one of them schools that, you know, that wanted me. And I love who love me. I see a lot of times, like just when you was mentioning talking to like the younger kids, like a lot of times people be reaching and they want to be loved by people who don't love them, specifically schools though. Like they want to take that name, they want to go to that place just because they associated with that, right? Like every DB want to go to LSU. Everybody know that. But if you ain't from there, if you don't know no better, if you ain't that guy for them, you should go where somebody wants you, and they'll build around you. So that's what Cal did for me. Like I got an opportunity. Everything they told me was true. When I came in, I was able to, you know, earn my spot, and they built around me. You know what I'm saying? It was love.
And that's real, like you say, like that opportunity, because that's what I talk to a lot of people about. You know, they always be like, what about so-and-so and this, man? Like I tell people, sometimes it's about getting put in that right position, right? Having coaches, teammates, and then, you know, that believe in you, man. You know, getting that opportunity, that's big right there.
Because that'll make or break you more times than not, like the situation you put in, because you only got so many games in college to play.
That's real.
You know what I'm saying?
That's real.
So you definitely want to be out there for one, and then be out there with some guys that's doing it at a high level just like you. And hopefully, you know, on both sides of the balls, there's guys that's leaving, so it's a group of y'all. It give you a better chance at, you know, going pro and stuff like that.
Right. And then, man, so talk to me, man, like, what would you say was like your favorite memory or like a special moment at Cal Berkeley?
At Cal? Man, it's so many. We talking about on the field, off the field,
man, on the field, off the field, just plays.
Oh,
like,
man.
Because you had some big plays, man.
I would say, man, it's a lot. We could just start with my first game. I went from playing with Mesa. We talking about 50 people in the crowd, girlfriends and moms and stuff like that. My first game, we catch a 15-hour flight. We go to Australia. So now I'm playing at 85,000 people in the soccer stadium. First time I got my passport. First time leaving the country. First game of the college football for that season. So we talking about something drastically like, we used to run out so geek just to be
Right,
playing
just to be playing.
just to be playing with the bros. You feel me?
Right.
Now I'm running out. I can't even hear the bros.
Right.
You get me? So that was for sure one of them. And just plays. I don't know, bro. It's a lot to choose from.
Right.
Not like
Man,
that, but I got a lot of different memorable ones.
Right.
But for sure, off the field, just meeting everybody in the Bay, networking with people in the Bay.
Right.
Life outside of football, just the connections I made, the people I met.
Right.
The Bay showed me love, bro. That's like my second home for sure.
Right, that's real.
For sure.
And then making those connections, right, like you say, you know, make it home for you, you know what I mean? And, you know, building those, because like they say, you don't ever want to burn bridges. So, you know, making those connections, you know what I mean? They go further than just football. So, like you say, you know, love in the Bay. So I'm sure when you go there, you know, it's just love outside of, you know, just football and things like that. So that's a blessing. And then, you know, I'm just curious, you know, as a football, you know, person, I want to know who was like the best player you lined up against or played with?
Play with in football? What level we talking?
I'm talking about at Cal. Like
at Cal?
Yeah.
Man, I can't sell nobody's shirt, bro. They gonna watch this and be like,
hey, right? You gonna have to ask Kenny.
How you do that, bro?
Right.
What about me? Nah, bro, I play with a lot of guys. I'm gonna just mention a couple of them. We got guys like Jordan Kanashik. He play linebacker right now for the Panthers. Right. Guys like Jordan Vesey. He play receiver for the Redskins.
Right.
Man, it's just at every position you can name two guys, three guys at every position. Right. That's just how I get. But some of my favorite people, like I said, playing with Jordan Kanashik, playing with guys like, man, where I want to go, Looney to Jalen Hawkins. He just got picked up by the Falcons this his rookie year.
Right.
Even on the opposite side of the ball, guys like Chad Hansen, he was a boy my junior year. He came out and did his thing, was a walk-on guy, kind of like an underrated guy like that.
Right.
Davis Webb was our quarterback, you know, grad transfer. He came and lit it up. He played right at the golf, so you know he had big shoes to fill. So it's too many guys, bro. I feel like I'm selling my teammates short. They gonna see it beyond me, for sure.
Right. You don't have to ask you that. And then who do you think was the best player that you had to line up against at Cal?
Man, I played in the pack. I played some of the best receivers.
That's what I said. You played against some of the best, man.
For sure. I think my 2 years at Cal, we had guys like Christian McCaffrey my junior year.
Right.
We had guys like John Ross my junior year, Juju my junior year. So I'm playing to get some guys, you know.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you playing against the top of the top.
I'm playing to get some guys, for sure.
Right. And then, you know, after Cal, man, you end up getting a stint with the Philadelphia Eagles, and then also in the CFL, where you're currently still a member, man. Talk about that, and you know, just those, you know, them trials and tribulations, and you know, molding you are into the man and player you are today.
Yeah, man, was blessed. You know, definitely to get the opportunity to play with the Eagles for that short period of time. Great experience. Love Philly. Wish it would have been longer.
Right.
But still being able to play. You know, I went pro when I was 20 years old, so I'm 23 now, so that's a blessing for me.
It is a blessing.
This was always a dream when I was 4 to play this game and get paid for it.
Right.
So 2 years in the CFL, first year with the BC Lions, now with the Montreal Alouettes.
Right.
So yeah, it's all a blessing, bro. Really.
That's good, man. That's such a blessing. And then, you know, Talk about your nonprofit organization, man, Relentless Sacrifices, because I think that's, you know, to me, it's bigger than anything you could do on the field in my eyes. You know what I mean? Like, you leaving a lasting impact on kids for, you know, the rest of their life. So, man, talk about that and how that came about.
Man, this be like the best part of the interview for me. Like, this is what I enjoy doing. Like, this is stuff I'd do if I wasn't even playing ball, you know?
Right.
Long story short, I got my degree in sociology, so I'm a social major. Very much so a people's person.
Right.
Went pro, left early for college. Didn't work out for me. Went back to school for my last semester.
Right.
So we talking about a transition from, you know, how that 6 a.m. grind to 10 hours at the facility to not going back to college. Like, damn, what a humbling experience, right?
Right.
Lifestyle, a drastic difference. Really trying to humble myself. Really life humbling me, you know?
Life humbling you, right.
For
sure. That's real.
And just, like I told you, just where your faith stand at, you know?
Right.
That's just one adversity for me. Went back to college. Probably the best situation for me to do is go back, finish. I owe it to my mom, my family, myself, you know? Went back to finish. In the process of that, I got a chance to really, like, be a student, you know?
Right.
And not really have to work on and really focus on football a lot. So really that life outside of football, start networking with the alumni, right? Start reaching out to people in the community, people like
Right.
Marloshawn, people like different real estate investors and stuff like that, just things that I would want to see myself doing.
Right.
I ain't gonna lie, it was tough though, bro. It was tough though, for
It
sure.
is. It's definitely a humbling experience, and it's like I tell people, like, if you never like pushed hard enough and really chased something, you know, like, then you don't know, like, to like get that close, and you know, but you know, lucky enough for you, you still got that opportunity, man.
For
But
sure.
you know, like a lot of people, you know, it's hard. Like you talk about humbling yourself, like that's why I tried to explain it. You know, to me, you know, when I went to UAB. I literally went in, started in the day when we put the pads on, went from third string to first string. I ended up getting hurt for 15 to 18 months. And mind you, like all I had on my mind was millions of dollars.
For sure.
Take care of my family. You know, like I don't care about what's going on back home.
You're not playing out there. It's not a game for real.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like just going through it. I'm like, God just humbling me, man, teaching me about family, right? Like, you know, the school part, you know what I mean? Being a student, you know, like, just going through it, man. You know, it's definitely a humbling experience, man. I definitely feel like me leaving for college, man, definitely, you know, turned me into a man, you know, made me grow up even faster. So
yeah, man, just transitioning from that life outside of football, having that opportunity to not be everything for me, right? Then I get to start networking, like, okay, well, what could work for me? What can I really see myself doing?
Right.
Came up with this idea, like, because I was always into, you know, giving back. That's just something I always did. I always wanted to be a big brother to people that was like a big bro to me.
Right.
You know? So shit, just really like going to schools, you know, being a big kid when I'm reading to them, outside recess, just cafeteria fun, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I was doing that while I was in school, right? So even when my junior year at Cal and my senior year, I was always in the community. Like, that's just what I always did.
Right.
Jersey Day, you go up there, you know? But then kids follow me on the social media, but then I just seen like, okay, every time I leave the school, the kids would be motivated. They'd be juiced. It might last for a week. It might last for 2 weeks, right? So I'm like, damn, it was making me feel some type of way, you know, like, damn,
like,
like
what can I,
the little homies hit me up on the gram, they come into the game and stuff like that, and I'm like, man, I got to do something that's like have a long lasting impression on them,
right? Not
just like, oh, we have Marlo come to the school for the last 2 weeks. I'm turned, my grades good, I'm showing up to class, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I was like, okay, I got to find something that it could stick with them. So when I went back that semester, that was like my thing to do. Like, I'll be on campus 3 times a week.
Right.
And just learning them and just seeing like what they need, and everybody kind of, you know, everybody need money, bro. Right. You know what I'm saying? True. And I was once that one kid that was like, you know, I'm here, but I'm really not. So I'm like, okay, like, I don't know how it really came about, but something clicked for me. You know, I had already signed the contract with the Eagles. I had, you know, a good little chunk of change.
Right.
I wasn't really worried about nothing. Everything I wanted to do, I was doing.
That's real.
So I'm like, okay, it'd be most valuable for them if I give them what I'm actually doing. Right. And that's sign the contracts, negotiate my own contracts, really knowing what it's like to budget money, save money, then spend it too, spend it happily at the same time.
Right. That's real. That's real.
But just knowing, you know, what that time management look like when I'm at the school, I'm working on schoolwork. When I'm not there, I'm at the gym. When I'm not there, I'm with y'all, I'm with the kids. I'm having a plan. I'm setting up business plans. I'm going into meetings with people, learning about real estate too. So it was like, it was most pure and genuine to me to give them what I was doing. So they was almost walking what I was doing, but at a young age though. So created a curriculum for them, was able to make something make more of a long-lasting impression. And so now I end up having 5 schools in one school district kind of adopt my curriculum, where I pilot my curriculum, where it's 5 different private contractors at a school.
Big time.
And they teach my curriculum, and now it's associated with me. Now it's like, oh, I want to learn that because Marlo teaching it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's bro. Like, he come with the jersey. Like, he look like me. He doing what I want to do. Like, he a positive dude. Like, that's what they ain't have. You know what I'm saying? So I provided that. And it's like my 3rd year doing it. I started doing it in 2018, the year before I went pro. And, you know, now it's doing what it's supposed to do now.
Right, man. Like I said, congratulations on that, because, like,
for sure,
that's big, man. That's something that's going to last a lifetime. You know what I mean?
For sure.
It's definitely going to be big, man. And then, you know, speak to, you know, what would you say to an athlete who's like stuck in a hard place, right? Because I know you had a lot of friends, and I sure did, that struggled, you know, after football ended, you know, to kind of find that passion, you know, like, because some people just let life kill them, you know what I mean? Like, they just kind of die, you know what I mean? So if you could say, you know, anything to encourage them or anything, you know, what would you tell them?
Bro, I just tell you what I did, bro. Like, I ain't the one person that's gonna act too tough or something. To, like,
Right, that's real.
No, when I got clipped by the Eagles, bro, that was a real thing, bro.
Right. Hurt.
You got to think about the person I am for my family. Like, I'm always been the Superman. I always been, okay, let me sacrifice for him so he can help us out. You know what I'm saying? I always been that staple for my family. So at the most pivotal time, you get me, I wasn't able to pull through. So we talking about something that nobody else can't help you with but yourself. You get me?
That's real.
So that's a real thing, bro. You gotta accept where you at, bro, and just keep going. That's about the whole faith thing. Like, you know how it be when you're in a situation you want to win so bad, but it just don't happen.
Right.
High school, I want to win so bad. I'm balling. I'm at the right school. It's just not happening.
Right.
Keep going, bro. Be relentless. You get me?
That's real, relentless. Right. That's why I love it. Like, relentless sacrifices, because
I swear.
You got to sacrifice over and over. And like you said, bro, like not feeling like you too tough for a situation, because as a man, right, like you was talking about being that rock for your family, you know, sometimes, you know, you don't get time to show emotion,
you can't.
Show weakness, you know what I mean? Put your guard down, you know what I mean? So, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, you can relate to that, man. So it's definitely a tough feeling, you know, when you are that rock for your family. And then, you know, like you said, you know, you carry that weight, you know what I'm saying? You carry your family last name. So you definitely want to make it happen. So, you know, but that's definitely a good word, Marlo, for real, man. And, you know, like I said, man, I'm very proud of you, man.
Hell yeah, good looking.
Honored to have you, you know what I'm saying, man? Thank you for coming through, man. You know, I know your time is money, man. You know what I mean?
Come
the
on,
grind
man.
And stuff. You
hey,
know,
man
so.
Told me this same day I booked my appointment, like, sign me up, bro. It's good. Same day, man. Stop
That's
playing.
Real. And then Marlo, man, like you spoke on, man, like those kids looking like us and stuff, because, you know, me being a teacher, right? Like the biggest thing I see with kids is that they need someone to show, you know, spend time with them, showing that they care, you know what I mean? Because then that's when you start to motivate them kids. They'll run through a brick wall for you. Because like you said, they see Marlo coming, he actually spending time, he involved. So now it make me want to be involved, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, talk about that, man. Because, you know, I feel like a lot of kids, you know, lack that at home, you know what I mean? And I think that plays a big role.
Them babies need love, bro. Just like everybody else. Especially at that age, like when they the youngest, they doing stuff for the first time. They doing stuff they probably shouldn't be doing. You know what I'm saying? They living and watching you. Like, they really, like, you know how they used to be like back in the day, like, oh, he's so young, he a sponge. Like, he's so, like, they watching your every move, bro. They keeping you accountable. They making sure, like, oh, okay, bro told me this, but he living like that, though. It gotta be something that's different, because he living like this, but he telling me that. Like, they keep you honest, bro. Kids, they keep you the most honest, bro.
I'm telling you, and you know, that's the one thing I learned about kids, right? Because, you know, like, you know, the kid that come and say, Mr. Curtis, my dad did so-and-so, and, you know, they just being honest, right? You know, in my head, I'm like, boy, if your daddy mama heard you tell me this, boy, they'll whoop your butt. But, you know,
bro.
Kids are just so honest and pure, and, like, that's why, like I say, like, my teacher in college, man, my freshman year changed my life, because, like he said, I go to college, I'm still sleeping in class. You know, same thing that got me in trouble in JUCO. I ain't going to class. I ain't doing none of that. But, like, my teacher woke me up one day and he had his degree in my face. And he said the biggest mistake we make as parents sometimes is we tell a child, do as I say, not as you see.
Right.
But he said a child gonna do what they see and not as you say. And I'm like, that's so real, because I remember as a kid, right? I remember my mama saying, do as I say, not as you see. But there's so many things that I saw that I go to school, and like I tell my kids all the time, I know y'all around things and things you shouldn't see and things like that, because y'all come and talk about them. Y'all don't even know what you're talking about, but you just talking about it, rambling on, you know, so.
No, that's a real thing, bro. You got to pour into them, bro. Just like them coaches poured into us and put them time on the field. And that's why football is so cool, bro, because it worked both ways.
Right.
I'm strong in life because I was strong in football. You get me? It go really both ways. So
that's real.
That's a real thing, bro.
It is. And like you said, like, and you just hit on something big, because it's like I told, you know, even when I was, you know, when I was coaching for a little while, like I would tell my players, like, go hard with this football, because football can change your life, right? Like, you can meet your best friend through it, right? It can take you to so many memories. And like, I remember my coach at UAB, Bill Clark, he would always say, like, I'm raising businessmen. Fireman, great husbands, great, fathers.
It sounded corny too.
It sounded like, right.
Like,
it really did.
Now,
but you know what I'm saying? But he was just telling the truth, because like I said, you always got that guy who went hard, but he probably never played. But like I said, that same player gonna end up being a businessman, because he did everything right. And it's like with football, like I say, football reveals character. It reveals who you are.
For sure. Nah, that's huge, bro, because it tie into everything. Everything is one, you know. And even going back to like the nonprofit stuff, just started up. It started with a T-shirt sale, bro. I did a T-shirt fundraiser, was able to fulfill what I want to do for my nonprofit, being able to get laptops and MacBooks and iPads for them.
Right.
Just helping out their learning situation, right, to help them improve on what they needed to. So I saw how successful it was, and I never wanted the clothes to overpower what I was really doing, so I slowed down on the T-shirts.
Right.
But people kept on asking, like, do this, do that. Like, I love, like, what the next one coming? And I'm like, shoot, if my clothes growing at the same time, just giving the same amount of notoriety to, you know, my mission and what I'm really trying to do.
Right.
So once I kind of understood that, I kind of went all in with the clothes, and I'm like, it just turned out great because now I get to create. Like, that's the biggest thing. Like, even with the whole Corona thing going on, like, my hustles adapt. You know, it's never just football. You get me?
That's real.
At one point in time, it was, though. It was one point in time where it was like, this what I'm going to get paid for, this what I'm going to get rich for. I don't need to do nothing else. You get me?
For real.
I don't care to do nothing else. Like, don't ask me. Like, I don't got no plan B. If you're talking about something that's not this, get away from me. You
Right, for real.
Like, stop playing with me. No,
That's real.
Just being able to create, bro, that's like the most fulfilling thing for me. Being able to take an idea that I have in my head, and now it's like a physical form. It's something that I could show somebody. It's something that somebody could read. They could really see it outside of my mental. You know what I'm saying?
Right, that's real. And then, you know, because you talked about, you know, me with Marloshawn Linton, you know, he's someone who's big over there in that area, you know, in the Bay and giving back, man. Talk about, you know, what can we do as a community for us to stick back and change the narrative and things around, you know, surrounding, you know, African-American communities and things like that?
That's tough to tackle, bro. I could really only speak about me. You know, I could affect my community more than I could affect the world. Like people, I want to change. Like, let me start where I'm at. You know, because I'm in Detroit, I'm in Phoenix, and I'm in Oakland. That's my hub. That's where I'm at anywhere I go.
Right.
In them 3 places, I'm straight. So how can I impact and be a good resource in that community, right?
That's real.
That's kind of how I always like to think about it. Instead of thinking so big, like, let me help my people who need it the most. You know, the people that help me, let me go back and pull them up because I got resources now. I got things that, you know, they probably didn't have to get in me, but because they was giving something to me, I was able to go get something different and go, you know, extend my branches and stuff like that. So it just go back to kind of like, just being genuine, bro.
Right,
just being a stand-up dude. You know, and whatever that mean to you, that mean to you. But just being able to, you know, don't be too big to go help people that helped you. Even if you start with that, you can start and finish with that. You'll make a bigger impact. Cause that's kind of like what I did. I just went back to the people that helped me. Like, hey, you know, I graduated, man. Thank you for that one talk we had that one day, bro. I was about to go spin off. Good looking. You don't even know that stuck with me, but that stuck with me,
Changed my life, right?
For sure.
And that's, you know, that's the thing about like just listening and growing, you know what I mean? Like you can always, when you listen, you know, because people love to talk too much, you know what I mean? But if you actually listen,
you know me,
you can,
I don't talk
at all. You can learn a lot when you be quiet, right? Because then you know what I mean? So that's real, you know what I'm saying? And man, and like you were just talking about, man, like, you know, it be those talks, right? Like you hear from something, you know, hear something from somebody and you hear it in a different way or something. You can hear a Bible verse, but like you hear it from somebody else and it can like stick with you. And it's like, right, that person changed my life without even knowing, you know, you impacted my life, man.
Get them people credit, bro.
For real.
Get them people credit because them be them positions where it's like, man, I was about to go do something so different.
Right.
And it'll be a random person just walk up to you at the store like, hey, bro, somebody just told me I love you, bro. And make sure whatever you thought you was about to do, just go do that.
That's real.
It'll be somebody you don't even know, bro. You know, real. Blessings come in so many different forms. Like, that's real.
And like I always say, like, you know, because it's like my grandma would always tell me, she said, you know, gotta have people tell you what you need to hear. And I'm like, that's so true. Because like you said, right, like I can be down, but like somebody be like, hey, pick your head up. Keep believing, keep going. And I'm like, how they even know I needed to hear that?
Yeah,
but I'm
they
like,
talking right to me.
But that was nothing but, you know, just coming from God. And I'm like, you know, so many blessings, like you say, you know, come in disguise, man. So that's real right there, man. And, you know, Marlo, for real, man, it's just good to, you know, just be sitting down here with you and just, you know, listening to you talk, man, you know, like the maturity, right? Because you know us, man, we was some, people don't know, we was knuckleheads.
No, Life will make you do that, bro.
For real.
Life will make you do that, bro. Even a big step of just moving out here, like, that was huge for me.
Right.
And then, like, okay, like, it's not gonna be what I thought it was gonna be, or I need to do something different. You know, always being able to, like, all right, let's stop playing. Come on. You know, that's always been the thing for me, just being serious about what I'm doing. Like, we all gonna do what we're gonna do. It's always a thing to have fun. You know that.
Right, it is.
But then it'd be a time and a place like, oh, okay, my homies need to not be my homies right now. I need to go be dolo.
That's real.
And
that's real.
That was always my go-to. Like, anytime stuff get blurry, everybody got to catch the sideline.
That's real.
Everybody, like this, cause I'ma see y'all when I see y'all.
Well, I see y'all, you already know, and it's
the conversation's gonna be different when we talk. It's gonna be like, oh, okay, like, yeah, you know, it's gonna be just one of them conversations where you could feel it, like, damn, Brody took off and I should have took off with him, but I didn't. Now we can't talk about nothing but nothing. You get me?
Right. That's real.
That's real. Thing.
And then, man, you know, talk about, you know, because a lot of people don't know, coming from, you know, Detroit, Michigan, and that upbringing, man.
No different than anywhere else, honestly, bro.
Right.
No different than anywhere, honestly. I can't even put it on extra like that, but definitely Detroit made me for sure. You know, it definitely put me where I needed to be at to fight life. You know what I'm saying? To understand what's going on, always being aware and be ready to fight life and not let it throw you off. You know, that's always gonna hit you, but it ain't gonna kill you though. That's so real. Definitely put me in my bag for that, for sure. For sure.
That's real, man. And like I said, Marlo, man, it's been a pleasure, you know, to have you, man. I appreciate you, you know, coming on the podcast and, you know, dropping knowledge, you know, for them young athletes and, you know, people that's, you know, going through the struggle. And like I said, man, what you're doing is tremendous, man. So I just want to thank you, man. So I appreciate you, man.
No doubt.
I was, man, glad to have you, bro.
No doubt, man. Check my boy out in the Trail, Curtis, man. He on some big things with this podcast. I'm glad to be a part of it. Same day, he like, come on, bro. I'm there. 2 hours. I'm there.
Real talk, man.
That's how it went.
That's real, man. And I appreciate you that for
No doubt. It's good, my boy.
Get off your ass and get the